Maybe it started with the premiere of TV shows like The Walking Dead and the release of films like World War Z, but there's no doubt that zombie movies have been in the spotlight for at least the past decade. Ready to face the undead? These are a few of the best zombie films currently available for streaming on Netflix. The French-Canadian film Ravenous, or Les Affamés, begins in the rural outskirts of Quebec, where a few survivors have managed to hang on after an outbreak of a mysterious disease turned people into bloodthirsty zombies. No one understands the source of the infection. All the survivors know is that the infected quickly develop a taste for human flesh. Those who have managed to hang on are inherently distrustful of one another, and any stranger who approaches will be greeted with suspicion and a shotgun. The survivors realize that there's more to the infected than an instinctual drive to hunt human beings. The zombies have slowly been constructing stacks of objects, as if they're preparing for some sort of strange ritual. What is the purpose of these structures, and what are the infected waiting for? These questions will haunt you throughout this suspenseful film as the survivors try to figure out the answers. Set during the Mexican War of Independence in 1815, Ladronas de Almas, or Soul Robbers, explores what happens when a group of outlaws breaks into a family's compound in hopes of finding valuable treasures, and they end up dealing with a situation they never bargained for. The compound is occupied by one man, his 3 daughters, and their Haitian servant. The young women seem harmless at first, but as it turns out, they're quite skilled when it comes to self-defense. Not that they really need to do their own dirty work. Unbeknownst to the insurgents, the family compound is protected by zombies. Suddenly, they're facing a threat that is even scarier than the war itself. If you're a fan of historical fiction and zombie films, Ladronas de Almas is a perfect choice for streaming. The gorgeous cinematography and moody lighting help create a creepy atmosphere for a suspenseful zombie film. Cowok Jagoan might not be your traditional scary zombie film, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and it's great for a couple of hours of escapism. This Indonesian flick will definitely deliver with plenty of laughs, and while you should probably lower your expectations as far as the special effects go, it's definitely worth checking out for the bombastic comedy elements alone. In Cowok Jagoan, Yanto's girlfriend is captured by a mobster, and he pulls together a bunch of his friends who plan to fight to get her back. But mobsters aren't the only thing they have to worry about. The group has a zombie outbreak to contend with too. The members of this ragtag bunch are no superheroes, but years ago, they made a pact to stick together and help each other, and now they've got to fulfill that promise. The crazy fight scenes and colorful cinematography help Cowok Jagoan stand out from other zombie films. In the Hindi zombie film Rise of the Zombie, Neil Parker is a wildlife photographer who spends too much time thinking about his work and too little time connecting with the people in his life. He's begun to push people away, and eventually, his girlfriend decides that she has had enough.
What's wrong? Everything about us.
She breaks up with him, and when she walks out, Neil doesn't get the message that he needs to work on his relationships. Instead, he decides to give up on his family and remaining friends and set out into nature. He feels that he has no choice but isolation, and he no longer cares about the life he is leaving behind. But as Neil says goodbye to his old world, something strange begins to happen. Once he has lost all of his human connections, he begins to lose his own humanity too. A change occurs within Neil, and slowly, it becomes clear that his choice to give up on everything and everyone that he once held dear has some serious consequences. KL Zombie, a Malaysian zombie film set in Kuala Lumpur, tells the story of Nipis, a pizza delivery boy who feels like he doesn't have much going for him, aside from his passion for hockey. One day, he's hanging out on a hill with a few of his friends when his friend Alif is suddenly bitten by a dog. The group is shocked, but another one of their friends, Anna, helps him get to the hospital, and it seems like all is well. But the next day, both Alif and Anna aren't feeling so good, and it becomes clear that this was no normal dog bite. As it turns out, this dog was carrying a virus that zombifies its victims. Both Anna and Alif turn into zombies, and now the trouble really begins. The virus is spread to a group of school children, and more people throughout Kuala Lumpur become infected. This particular breed of zombies tries to curb their hunger with normal food, but they can't ignore their instincts. Now it's Nipis' turn to save the day. The Girl with All the Gifts is a post-apocalyptic horror film based on Mike Carey's novel of the same name, in which a parasitic fungus has turned most human beings into flesh-eating, fast-moving zombies called hungries. Humanity's only hope for salvation lies in a group of hybrid children who still have a taste for flesh, but are mindless eating machines, since they can still think and reason. The children are detained at an army base, where they're taught by the kind and patient Helen Justineau, while being subjected to medical experiments by Dr. Caroline Caldwell.
Melanie, you're a clever girl.
I think you know.
You think you can make a cure out of me?
I can.
Caldwell intends to develop a vaccine for the disease and believes that the children are the key. A girl named Melanie is particularly gifted, and Justino has taken a liking to her. Caldwell, on the other hand, plans to dissect her for the vaccine. When Hungries invade the base, the three of them end up on the run together. The adults have different intentions for Melanie, who just might be humanity's last hope. But can she be trusted? And if she's still human after all, is she willing to sacrifice her life for Caldwell's cause? The South Korean zombie movie Alive follows Jun-woo, a video game live streamer from Seoul who happens to be gaming in his family's apartment when a disease breaks out that turns the infected into zombies. After seeing a news broadcast about the devastating new epidemic, Jun-woo looks over his balcony to the chaotic scene below. When he witnesses his newly infected neighbors attacking each other, he decides to barricade himself inside the apartment. In a desperate plea for help, he posts a request to be rescued on social media. Days later, it seems like all hope is lost. Jun-woo's family is dead, and he's lost internet and phone service. He has no running water, he's running low on food, and there are no signs that help is coming. Suddenly, he notices that someone in the apartment complex across from him is shining a laser point through his window. Another survivor, Yubin, is letting him know he's not alone. Apart, they couldn't have made it, but together, they just might have a fighting chance. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Looper videos about your favorite shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.